What if the glowing object streaking through our solar system right now isn't just another comet? What if the icy wanderer scientists call 3I Atlas is actually something else, something built, not born? Imagine a machine the size of a city, a robot launched from an alien world ages ago, drifting through the galaxy until it finally found us. Sounds like the plot of a sci-fi movie, right? But the more we look at 3I Atlas, the more the line between natural wonder and alien technology begins to blur. In today's video, we're going to dive into one of the wildest what-if questions of all time. What if 3I Atlas isn't just a rock drifting through space, but a giant alien robot? From ancient AI to cosmic gardeners, to galactic couriers carrying messages across the stars, the theories only get stranger the deeper we go. So stay tuned until the very end, because you don't want to miss the possibilities we're about to uncover. Let's begin. Episode 1: A Visitor from the Stars. For centuries, astronomers assumed that every comet and asteroid we spotted came from right here, our own solar system. That belief shattered in 2017 when a strange, cigar-shaped rock zipped past Earth on a trajectory proving it came from somewhere far away. That was Oumuamua, the first confirmed interstellar object. Then in 2019, another arrived, 2I Borisov, a true comet from another star. Now, in 2025, we face the third, 3I Atlas. Only 3 interstellar visitors have ever been confirmed, and this one is the biggest and most puzzling yet. 3I Atlas is no slow drifter. It slices through space at nearly 130,000 miles per hour. That's fast enough to circle Earth in just 12 minutes. Its path is hyperbolic, which means gravity here won't capture it. Once it leaves, it's gone forever, racing back into the darkness between stars. Scientists can model its trajectory, but the question nags, how did it get moving this fast? Did it simply slingshot around another star millions of years ago, or did something more deliberate push it this way? Early estimates put the object's size at up to 15 miles across, an entire city block of alien rock drifting toward us. Later measurements refined that to about 7 miles wide. Even at the smaller figure, it's still the largest interstellar object humanity has ever seen. Imagine something that big hiding technology inside. A craft. A machine. A robot. It sounds wild, but that hasn't stopped people from speculating. Through telescopes, 3I Atlas appeared enormous, surrounded by a glowing green-blue halo. Scientists explained it's a coma, gas and dust released as the sun warms icy material. That's what makes comets glow. But NASA noted something odd: the actual nucleus may be far smaller than the halo suggests. Maybe less than a kilometer across. That means we could be looking at a tiny, dense body disguising itself behind a much larger glow. Is it natural camouflage, or intentional? The James Webb Space Telescope analyzed the gases surrounding 3I Atlas. The results shocked researchers. The comet's coma was dominated by carbon dioxide, with levels far higher than almost any comet we've seen. Its CO-to-water ratio was off the charts. That chemical fingerprint didn't match the comets of our solar system. It looked foreign. One explanation: 3I Atlas formed in a colder, more distant region of another star system. Another, more unsettling possibility: the readings aren't natural at all. They're exhaust. The Swift Observatory found evidence of water vapor long before the comet came close to the Sun. Normally, comets don't release water until much nearer, because it's too cold farther out. Yet 3I Atlas was venting at more than 3 astronomical units away, beyond Jupiter. Natural anomaly, or something activating early. Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb noticed something troubling. The comet's trajectory seemed to line up almost perfectly with the orbits of Venus, Earth, and Mars. Maybe coincidence. But if you were sending a probe to explore a new solar system, wouldn't you aim it toward the rocky planets most likely to host life? Loeb suggested we shouldn't ignore the possibility. His critics rolled their eyes. But once the seed is planted, it's hard not to wonder. When Three-Eyed Atlas passed closest to the Sun, its perihelion, our view of it dimmed in the solar glare. Just as it moved through its most interesting moment, we lost clear eyes on it. And that's when speculation exploded. What if it used the cover of the Sun to deploy smaller probes? Invisible to our instruments, scattering into the inner solar system? Some researchers even connected this idea to the rise in UAP sightings near Earth. Outlandish? Maybe. But not everyone dismissed it. Here's where fear creeps in. Science fiction writer Liu Cixin imagined a galaxy full of civilizations hiding in silence, like hunters in a forest. To reveal yourself is to invite destruction. If Three-Eyed Atlas is artificial, maybe it's not here to chat. Maybe it's here to observe. Or judge. That thought chills people more than any natural explanation ever could. Most astronomers argue the safe line: it's a natural comet. Its coma, its gases, its speed, all within the realm of possibility. But a smaller group, led by voices like Loeb, warns against ignoring alternatives. They argue science should test every possibility, even the uncomfortable ones. This divide makes Three-Eyed Atlas one of the most controversial discoveries of the decade. So what are we left with? An icy body streaking through our solar system. A halo that hides its true size. Chemistry that doesn't add up. Water venting where it shouldn't. A suspiciously convenient trajectory. And the haunting possibility it isn't natural at all. If it's just a comet, it's still a fascinating piece of cosmic history. If it's more than that, then this might be humanity's first real encounter with alien technology. And as strange as it sounds, this is only the beginning. Because the deeper scientists dig into Three-Eyed Atlas, the more impossible questions they uncover. But that wasn't the whole story. Episode 2, The Perfect Alignment. When astronomers mapped out Three-Eyed Atlas's path, something caught their eye. It wasn't just flying randomly through the solar system, its trajectory happened to align almost perfectly with the orbits of Venus, Earth, and Mars. On paper, that might be coincidence. But to some, it looked intentional. If you wanted to send a probe into a foreign star system, you wouldn't waste time circling gas giants. You'd head straight for the planets most likely to hold life. That eerie precision fueled whispers, "Is this thing scouting us?" Enter Avi Loeb, the Harvard astrophysicist who has become both a hero and a target for pushing the alien probe theory. He stirred global headlines back in 2017 by suggesting Oumuamua wasn't just a rock, but maybe a discarded light sail. Now, he's back with another bombshell: maybe Three-Eyed Atlas isn't natural at all. He points to its massive size, its strange composition, and its suspicious planetary flybys as possible signs of technology. Critics say he's chasing headlines. But Loeb insists he's just following the data and refusing to let human bias blind us to extraordinary possibilities. When Three-Eyed Atlas swung closest to the Sun, telescopes lost their view in the glare. That blackout lasted long enough for imaginations to run wild. Some theorists suggested that if this object carried hidden devices, that would have been the perfect moment to release them. The Sun's light would conceal any activity. Tiny probes could scatter silently into the solar system, disguised as meteors or even the UAPs that have dominated headlines in recent years. NASA has no evidence of this, of course. But the timing is just suspicious enough to keep conspiracy theorists awake at night. Here's where speculation goes from fascinating to downright unsettling. Some researchers have proposed that 3I Atlas could be a mothership, a carrier for smaller craft. According to this idea, the comet-like shell is a disguise. Hidden inside, tiny machines could be waiting for the right moment to launch. Once deployed, they'd be nearly impossible to detect, blending into the chaos of natural space debris. And if that sounds far-fetched, remember, even mainstream outlets like the New York Post reported on theories that 3I Atlas could release miniprobes. The past few years have seen a dramatic rise in government investigations into unidentified aerial phenomena. Fighter pilots, military radar, and whistleblowers have all fueled public debate over strange objects in our skies. So when scientists speculated that 3I Atlas might scatter smaller probes, the leap was obvious. What if the mysterious UAPs reported on Earth are connected to interstellar visitors like this one? It's a connection no agency will officially make. But for those following both stories, it's hard not to link the dots. This is where fear creeps back in. The dark forest hypothesis paints a chilling picture of the galaxy, countless civilizations hiding in silence, terrified of making noise. Because in a forest full of hunters, the first creature to reveal itself gets destroyed. If 3I Atlas is a machine, maybe it isn't here to announce itself. Maybe it's here to watch. To listen. To decide whether Earth's chatter has gone too far. Science fiction, yes. But also a sobering reminder that not all contact would be friendly. Not everyone buys the alien theory. In fact, most astronomers roll their eyes at it. To them, 3I Atlas is clearly a comet. The coma, the venting gases, the trajectory, all of it can be explained naturally. They argue that dragging aliens into the conversation distracts from the very real science at stake, understanding how interstellar objects form and travel. Still, their voices often get drowned out by the drama. Because let's be honest, it's just a comet doesn't pull headlines the way the giant alien robot does. In September 2025, the Vera C. Rubin Observatory captured detailed images of 3I Atlas. The results showed a massive but ordinary cometary profile. No hard edges, no metallic reflections, no strange signals. Just ice, rock, and gas behaving as expected. To most scientists, this closed the case. The alien robot idea was fun to imagine, but ultimately unnecessary. And yet, even they admit, Oumuamua once fooled us too. Even if 3I Atlas is 100% natural, it's still historic. It's the largest interstellar comet ever detected. It carries chemistry we've never seen up close. It may hold clues about the birth of alien solar systems billions of years ago. Studying it doesn't just tell us about one comet. It tells us about the galaxy itself. Where these objects come from. How common they are. And what they mean for life beyond Earth. In other words, natural or not, 3I Atlas is a treasure trove of knowledge. To really understand the hype around 3I Atlas, you need to remember the two interstellar visitors that came before. Oumuamua was a riddle, too thin, too fast, and strangely reflective. It didn't vent like a normal comet, and some claimed it accelerated unnaturally. Borisov, on the other hand, was much more conventional, behaving exactly like the comets we know. 3I Atlas seems like a mix, comet-like, yes, but with strange quirks that echo the mysteries of Oumuamua. That combination is what makes people whisper. The story of Three-Eye Atlas isn't finished. Observatories around the world are still tracking it, gathering data as it speeds back into interstellar space. NASA has been cautious, avoiding wild speculation, but upcoming results from JWST and other telescopes could finally confirm whether this object is purely natural or something stranger. Until then, all we can do is wonder. Here's the truth: we may never know for certain what Three-Eye Atlas really is. By the time we fully analyze it, it'll be gone, a streak of light disappearing into the void. And maybe that's why we can't help but imagine. Maybe that's why we ask, what if? Because in the end, the possibility of not being alone is too powerful to ignore. But the question is, do we really want to know the answer? Episode 3, Baba Vanga and the Prophecy. The moment scientists confirmed Three-Eye Atlas was an interstellar visitor, the media storm began. News outlets rushed to slap on dramatic headlines, massive alien object entering our solar system. Some even invoked prophecies and doomsday predictions. To the public, it wasn't just another comet. It was a mystery from the stars, and mysteries demand stories. That storytelling, sometimes accurate, sometimes exaggerated, shaped how millions of people saw the object. Not as frozen rock and ice, but as a possible messenger. Or a threat. As if the discovery itself wasn't strange enough, cultural threads got woven into the narrative. Bulgarian mystic Baba Vanga, who died in the 1990s, was rumored to have predicted humanity's first alien contact in the mid-2020s. Suddenly, every article about Three-Eye Atlas started name-dropping her. Coincidence? Maybe. But it added fuel to the fire, turning a comet into a cosmic omen. People don't just want facts. They want meaning. And Three-Eye Atlas was quickly becoming a symbol of fear, hope, and everything in between. But behind the spectacle lurks a serious question: what if it really is artificial? Would governments tell us? Or would they hide the truth, worried about mass panic? Some argue disclosure is always the right path, that humanity deserves to know. Others believe revealing too much, too soon could shatter trust, markets, even geopolitics. It's a debate that won't go away. And every new anomaly Three-Eye Atlas shows just stokes it further. NASA has been cautious in its statements. Officials describe Three-Eye Atlas as a cometary body with unusual but natural characteristics. They emphasize the science, downplay the speculation. But for conspiracy theorists, that caution looks like silence hiding secrets. If you're convinced the government would never admit to alien contact, then every official denial feels like confirmation. And so the cycle continues: data, denial, speculation, repeat. What if NASA isn't ignoring the alien theory, but testing it quietly? Imagine a hidden task force analyzing every shred of Three-Eye Atlas's data, watching for anomalies the public never sees. Would they publish those results? Or bury them until the world was ready? It's a question that echoes back to UFO secrecy debates of the past. And it keeps public imagination locked on the idea that maybe, just maybe, there's more going on than we're told. Here's the tension: science demands caution. Speculation demands drama. Scientists don't want to risk their careers on wild theories. Journalists want clicks. Audiences want mystery. Somewhere in the middle sits the truth, blurry, contested, constantly shifting. Three-Eye Atlas is a perfect example. Every piece of data supports a natural comet. But every unexplained detail invites a wilder story. And humans? We can't resist the wilder story. But here's the twist: sometimes speculation leads to real breakthroughs. The idea of alien probes might sound wild, but asking those questions forces scientists to look harder, to double-check data, to notice details they might have ignored. Even if 3I Atlas turns out to be just ice and rock, the act of questioning has already expanded our science. It reminds us that the universe is vast, strange, and full of surprises. Imagine this: 3I Atlas isn't a robot itself. But maybe it carries the first breadcrumbs. Unusual chemistry. Strange alignments. Odd behavior. Maybe these are just hints, not proof, that something larger is out there. That other civilizations exist. That we've only scratched the surface of cosmic discovery. It doesn't have to be a mothership to matter. Sometimes the first clue is enough to change everything. Still, the question lingers. What if it is a machine? What if we've been staring at the galaxy's first confirmed alien robot and dismissing it as ice? Imagine its coma isn't natural gas, but a shroud of controlled emissions. Imagine its nucleus is a dense core of engineered metal. Imagine its venting water isn't sublimation, but cooling fluid. It's speculation, sure. But it's speculation that won't die. Because deep down, people want to believe. So where does that leave us? On one side, cold science, cautious explanations, a natural comet with unusual quirks. On the other, cultural hysteria, prophesies, alien theories, and the tantalizing idea that 3I Atlas could be more than it seems. The truth is, we may never know. By the time we've asked the right questions, the object will be gone, vanishing back into the interstellar dark. But here's the haunting thought: if 3I Atlas is just one of many, how many more are already on their way? And what happens when one doesn't just pass through, but stops? Episode 4: Chasing the Uncatchable. By the time telescopes spot interstellar objects, it's usually too late. They are moving fast, tens of kilometers per second, and already streaking past the sun. 3I Atlas was no different. We found it in time to watch, but not in time to chase. And that fact frustrated scientists. Because for the first time in history, humanity had the chance to reach out to something not of this solar system. But it slipped through our fingers. That failure sparked new ideas. If we can't scramble a mission at the last second, maybe we should be waiting in advance. Groups like the ESA's Comet Interceptor project are designing spacecraft that can sit parked in space, ready to pounce on the next interstellar visitor. The moment a comet like 3I Atlas is detected, the interceptor would launch, swoop in, and snap close-up images before the object vanishes forever. For the first time, we might get to see one of these travelers up close. In theory, yes. But in practice? No chance. 3I Atlas was massive, unpredictable, and moving too fast for any existing spacecraft. Even if NASA had greenlit a mission instantly, the technology just wasn't ready. It's a reminder of how unprepared we are. If an alien probe really did drift through our system disguised as a comet, we'd have no way to know for sure. That leads to a bigger, scarier issue. What's the plan if we do find proof? There is, technically, a post-detection protocol drafted by scientists decades ago. It outlines how data should be verified, who should be told, and how the world should be informed. But here's the catch: it's not legally binding. No government has to follow it. Which means, in reality, the first confirmed alien contact might not be shared with the public at all. It's a question that divides people. Some believe governments would hide it, afraid of chaos. Religion, economy, power structures, all could be destabilized by the revelation we're not alone. Others argue the opposite, that the discovery would be too big to suppress. In the age of smartphones, open-source telescopes, and instant leaks, keeping a lid on alien evidence would be impossible. But until it happens, the truth is, no one knows. When Oumuamua was first spotted, astronomers scrambled to gather data. But by the time the world took notice, the object was already fading from view. 3-Eye Atlas gave us a second chance, and we still weren't ready. If there's a lesson here, it's simple: the galaxy isn't waiting for us. Visitors will come and go whether we're prepared or not. The question is whether we'll meet them with silence or curiosity. But let's flip the script. What if we do intercept an interstellar object, and it really is a machine? What happens if poking it wakes it up? Science fiction is full of warnings: probes that activate, ships that respond aggressively, ancient machines that see us as insects. If 3-Eye Atlas were truly a robot, touching it could be the worst decision humanity ever made. And yet, curiosity always wins. Some scientists argue that if alien probes are watching us, the only rational response is to say hello. To beam a signal back and prove we're intelligent. Others warn that's suicide. Because if the dark forest hypothesis is right, broadcasting our location could be the same as lighting a flare in the middle of enemy territory. 3-Eye Atlas raises the question in a way few other discoveries have: do we dare answer back, if something out there is listening? Whether it's alien tech or frozen ice, interstellar visitors are coming more often than we thought. 3 in less than a decade suggests the galaxy is teeming with these wanderers. The next one might be bigger, stranger, slower, maybe even easier to catch. And if that day comes, we'll face the decision head-on: do we chase it? Study it? Or let it pass, wondering forever what secrets it carried? Here's the haunting thought: what if 3-Eye Atlas wasn't just random? What if these objects are messages? Tests? Breadcrumbs leading us somewhere? It sounds wild, but in a universe full of possibilities, wild might be the safest assumption. Because the greatest danger isn't that 3-Eye Atlas was a robot. The greatest danger is that we ignore the possibility altogether. Episode 5: The Question of Motive. If 3-Eye Atlas is artificial, the next question is obvious: why is it here? Exploration? Observation? Or something more sinister? Every motive we imagine says more about us than about the object itself. Because when humans send probes, we have two goals: learn and expand. Would aliens be any different? Some believe 3-Eye Atlas could be a scout. A quiet vanguard sent to map solar systems, evaluate resources, and report back. Think about it: you don't send an army first. You send a drone. You gather intel. You decide whether the target is safe or worth taking. If that's true, 3-Eye Atlas isn't the main event. It's the opening act. Here's a chilling possibility: 3-Eye Atlas could be ancient. Older than our planet. If civilizations rose and fell billions of years ago, their machines might still be wandering the galaxy. What if this thing isn't actively controlled, but just following a program written eons ago? To us, it would look alien. To them, it was probably just routine. That thought alone is terrifying. Others suggest a quieter purpose, observation. If you wanted to study a species without alarming it, you disguise your probe as something natural. A comet. An asteroid. Something no one would suspect. And isn't that exactly what 3i Atlas looks like? Of course, speculation can't avoid the apocalyptic. What if 3i Atlas isn't here to watch, but to judge? Some fear it could be a trigger, a probe designed to monitor developing civilizations, ready to act if they become too noisy, too aggressive, too visible. It's the dark forest nightmare all over again. And suddenly, our satellites, our radio signals, even our internet traffic look less like harmless chatter and more like a beacon. Imagine the day humanity confirms 3i Atlas is not natural. Religions worldwide would scramble to interpret the meaning. Some might see it as a sign of divine creation. Others as proof of cosmic neighbors written into holy texts all along. But there would also be fear. Splits. Entire belief systems shaken. Faith tested in ways no human generation has ever faced. If confirmation ever came, who gets to announce it? Who controls the message? Governments might treat it as a matter of national security. Militaries would want to know if the object poses a threat. Corporations might see profit. The terrifying part? Humanity's first alien contact might not be handled by scientists or philosophers, but by generals and politicians. We've seen how fragile society can be in the face of crisis. Now imagine headlines screaming, "Alien machine confirmed in solar system." Markets would crash. Fear would spread. Trust in institutions would be tested like never before. And that's if the object does nothing. Imagine the chaos if it actually responded. Here's the paradox: if 3i Atlas is artificial, we want answers. But do we really want to poke it? Because any attempt to make contact, a signal, a probe, a weapon, could trigger something we can't predict. And once the line is crossed, there's no going back. But let's be honest, curiosity always wins. Even if the risks are sky high, someone, somewhere, would try. They'd want to be the first. The one who unlocked the truth of the universe. That's who we are. And that's why, if 3i Atlas is a machine, the story of humanity and the story of aliens might already be colliding. Maybe that's the real draw of 3i Atlas. It's not just a comet. Not just a mystery. It's a mirror. It forces us to ask questions about our place in the galaxy. About who we are, what we fear, and what we hope. And whether we're ready, or not, for the answer. Episode 6, The Confirmation Shock. Imagine the moment scientists confirm 3i Atlas is artificial. No more debate. No more maybe. Hard evidence of alien engineering. The world wouldn't just watch the news, it would stop. Every screen, every phone, every broadcast flashing the same headline, "Alien machine detected." For the first time in history, Earth would face proof we are not alone. The first response wouldn't come from scientists. It would come from generals. Satellites would be repositioned. War rooms would light up. Every nation capable of defense would ask the same question: is it a threat? Even if 3i Atlas showed no hostility, the instinct to prepare for the worst would take over. And that instinct could shape everything that followed. In the US, agencies like Space Force would suddenly become central players. Their job is protecting space assets, but how do you protect Earth from something older, bigger, and smarter than us? The truth is, you don't. but pretending you can might be the only way to keep society calm. Here's the darker side. Would anyone dare to strike it? History tells us humans are quick to fire when threatened. If one nation saw 3i Atlas as a danger, it might launch weapons, even knowing they'd be useless. And if it is a machine, what happens when it realizes it's been attacked? But fear isn't the only response. Some would see opportunity. If we can prove 3i Atlas is artificial, then by studying it, we might unlock technologies far beyond our own. Propulsion, energy systems, even AI on a galactic scale. The temptation would be enormous. And history shows, where there's technology, there's competition. Every major power would want a piece of 3i Atlas. Not for science. For advantage. Think of the space race of the 20th century, now multiply it by 1,000. Whoever gets first access to alien technology could reshape the balance of global power forever. The tragedy? That hunger for control might destroy the very thing we're trying to study. Beyond governments, the cultural impact would be seismic. Movies, books, music, and art would explode with new meaning. Every creative mind on Earth would be reimagining humanity's place in the cosmos. But not all responses would be hopeful. Some would lean into fear. Some would spiral into chaos. For every dreamer who saw destiny in the stars, there'd be another who saw the end of days. If 3i Atlas is intelligent, we face a critical decision: do we attempt to communicate? Scientists would argue for caution, using mathematics, physics, or universal constants as a language. Militaries would warn against revealing too much. Philosophers would ask if silence is the wiser path. The debate could divide humanity more than unite it. And yet, doing nothing might not be an option. There are only 3 outcomes if 3i Atlas is a robot. 1. It ignores us, continuing on its path, leaving behind more questions than answers. 2. It responds, peacefully, curiously, opening the door to first contact. 3. It reacts defensively, reminding us why some scientists believe the universe is silent. And in that moment, humanity would learn whether we are explorers or prey. Even if 3i Atlas did nothing, the knowledge alone would haunt us. Every new comet, every asteroid, every unexplained object would carry new weight. We'd never look at the night sky the same way again. Because once you've confirmed alien machines exist, the question isn't if they'll return. The question is when. Episode 7, Learning from Our Failures. We missed our chance with Oumuamua. We missed our chance with 3i Atlas. By the time telescopes spot these visitors, they're already racing back into the void. That means if we want answers, we can't wait until next time. We have to be ready before the next one comes. And that changes everything about how we think of space exploration. One proposal is simple: constant vigilance. Build more powerful all-sky surveys, telescopes scanning every corner of the heavens 24/7. With wider coverage, earlier detection, and faster response times, we might spot the next interstellar object months or even years in advance. Because when the universe only gives you one shot, early warning is everything. ESA's Comet Interceptor mission is just the start. Imagine dozens of standby spacecraft, parked in deep space, waiting for the next cosmic visitor. The moment a new object is spotted, one of these interceptors could fire thrusters, adjust course, and get close enough to scan, sample, or even land. Instead of reacting late, we'd already be in position, turning the galaxy into our laboratory. Some futurists push the idea even further, build a fleet of messengers that patrol the solar system permanently. Each one equipped with cameras, spectrometers, and maybe even AI systems to make decisions in real time. They'd act like border guards, investigating every suspicious rock that crosses our path. If another 3i Atlas showed up, we wouldn't just watch it from Earth. We'd meet it face to face. There's also Project Lyra, a study into how we might actually chase down an interstellar object. The idea: use advanced propulsion, nuclear rockets, solar sails, or even fusion drives, to catch up to something like Oumuamua long after it passes. It wouldn't be easy. It might take decades. But the payoff? Direct study of an alien interloper, even if it's already far from the sun. Of course, not every plan is about science. Some are about survival. What if the next interstellar object isn't harmless? What if it's massive, fast, and on a collision course? In that case, early detection could mean the difference between extinction and survival. Concepts like nuclear deflection, kinetic impactors, and even gravity tractors are being tested today, not for aliens, but for asteroids. Still, the overlap is clear. Defending Earth means preparing for all cosmic visitors. SETI has long listened for radio signals from the stars. But what if the real signals aren't beamed across light years, but hidden in objects drifting right past our doorstep? Some researchers argue SETI should expand beyond listening for beacons and start scanning interstellar visitors for unusual patterns. Heat emissions, non-random pulses, even coded chemistry. Because the next message from the stars might not come through space, it might fly into it. If we ever confirm an object like 3i Atlas is artificial, how would we even communicate? Math seems universal. Prime numbers, ratios, constants like pi or e. But what if their language isn't numbers at all? What if it's chemistry, magnetism, or something we can't even imagine? Contact isn't just about sending a message. It's about hoping the other side can understand it. Another challenge: who gets to lead the response? Do we trust NASA? ESA? The UN? Or do we risk a world where every nation acts alone, competing for access, hiding discoveries, and maybe even sabotaging one another? Because one thing is certain: interstellar visitors don't care about borders. But humans do. And that clash could decide everything. Finally, the darkest prep plan of all: assume the worst. Some survivalists argue that every interstellar object should be treated as a potential threat. They push for underground bunkers, off-world colonies, even backup human DNA banks in case of disaster. It sounds extreme. But in a universe where survival isn't guaranteed, maybe paranoia is just another form of preparation. What makes all of this urgent is simple math. Oumuamua came in 2017. Borisov in 2019. 3i Atlas in 2024. 3 interstellar visitors in less than a decade. That means the next one could already be on its way. Hurtling through the void. Invisible for now, but destined to appear in our skies. And when it does, will we be ready? Or will we once again watch history slip through our fingers? Episode 8: The Great Realization. For centuries, humans stared at the stars and wondered, are we alone? If 3i Atlas were confirmed as artificial, that question would be answered in an instant. And the answer would shake us to the core. We wouldn't just be one small species on one small planet. We'd be neighbors in a galaxy full of intelligence. But what does that do to the human mind? Think about how we define ourselves, the most advanced species we know, the rulers of Earth, explorers of space. Now imagine learning we're not unique. That others, maybe billions of years ahead, have already been here, leaving machines behind. That realization isn't just humbling. It's destabilizing. Because suddenly, we're not the center of the story anymore. Here's a disturbing thought: what if we're being studied? Not as equals. Not as rivals. But as curiosities. An interstellar version of an ant farm, interesting, but not important. If 3i Atlas is a probe, maybe we're just data points in a cosmic experiment. That idea alone could fracture human pride. The psychology of contact is a mix of two extremes, awe and terror. On one hand, people would feel wonder, proof that the universe is alive, that we're not alone. On the other, dread, fear of being small, fragile, and possibly expendable. The emotional swing between those two poles could be overwhelming. And it wouldn't just affect individuals. It would reshape entire societies. Psychologists warn about a specific danger: existential dread. When confronted with something too big to process, like alien machines crossing the galaxy, people can spiral into hopelessness. They ask, what's the point of anything if we're ants under a giant's gaze? History shows that too much dread can lead to chaos. Revolutions. Collapse. Even violence. And 3i Atlas could trigger that on a global scale. But there's another side. For some, confirmation of alien life would be the most hopeful news imaginable. Proof that intelligence survives. That civilizations don't all destroy themselves. That maybe one day, we could join a greater cosmic community. That kind of hope could inspire new art, new science, new unity. In the right hands, it could be a weapon against despair. Reactions wouldn't be the same across ages. Older generations might struggle with the loss of certainty, clinging to old world views. Younger people, raised in a world where aliens are fact, not fantasy, might adapt more easily. In time, the shock would fade. But the cultural memory, the knowledge that we know, would never leave us. Once the truth is out, humanity's attention would lock on it. Every movie, every headline, every school debate circling back to the same idea: what are they? What do they want? We'd live in an age of obsession. The night sky wouldn't just be stars anymore, it would be filled with questions. Psychologists predict a split. One camp would embrace the mystery, seeing aliens as inspiration. The other would lean into paranoia, convinced we're under surveillance. The clash between hope and fear could define politics, culture, and even conflict for decades. Because when a giant robot drifts through your solar system, no one stays neutral. Even after 3i Atlas disappears into deep space, the shadow it casts would remain. Every decision humanity makes, colonizing Mars, building AI, even war and peace on Earth, would now carry the weight of a new question: what if they're watching? And maybe that's the greatest psychological shift of all. Living not as the only intelligence in the galaxy, but as part of something far bigger, far stranger, and far older. At the heart of it, the psychological impact comes down to one truth. Humans are used to being the watchers, the explorers, the dominant minds of Earth. But if 3i Atlas is a machine, then for the first time, we are the watched. And that flips our entire story upside down. Episode 9, The Ancient Visitor Hypothesis. What if 3i Atlas isn't the first? What if machines like it have been drifting through our solar system long before humans ever looked up? The Earth is 4.5 billion years old. Modern humans? Barely 200,000 years. That's less than a blink in cosmic time. If alien probes have been roaming for eons, there's no reason to think we were their first stop. The problem is simple: Earth erases its past. Weather, oceans, shifting continents, all of it wipes away traces of anything older than a few million years. So if a probe landed here long ago, its remains could be buried deep beneath rock, crushed into the seafloor, or erased by volcanic fire. In other words, the evidence might already exist, but locked beyond our reach. Some theorists point to ancient myths, sky gods, fiery chariots, visitors from the stars. Stories that show up in cultures oceans apart, long before contact. Were these just imagination? Or were they memories of encounters with strange objects that our ancestors couldn't explain? If a glowing machine passed through the skies thousands of years ago, what would early humans call it? A god? A demon? Or just a mystery that became myth? Unlike Earth, the Moon keeps secrets. No atmosphere. No weather. No oceans to erase the past. That means if alien probes visited, the lunar surface could still hold scars, fragments, footprints, even hidden artifacts. Some scientists argue that searching the Moon might give us a clearer picture of our cosmic history than searching Earth itself. Mars is another candidate. With its thin atmosphere and dry deserts, it preserves history for millions of years. Strange shapes in satellite images have fueled speculation: pyramids, statues, even artificial faces. Most turn out to be natural formations. But what if some aren't? What if Mars is the real archive of past visitors, sitting quietly with answers we haven't recognized yet? Not all evidence has to be on planets. Some researchers suggest searching for alien technosignatures in orbit, satellites, debris, or dormant machines circling Earth or the Sun. If probes came in the past, maybe some were left behind. Abandoned scouts, silent now but still out there, waiting to be found. Every so often, strange discoveries spark debate. Objects that look machine-made but are found in rock layers millions of years old. Magnetic patterns in minerals that shouldn't exist. Ancient carvings that some say show flying machines. Most of these can be explained naturally. But not all. And it only takes one true anomaly to rewrite everything. Here's the paradox: if probes have been visiting for millions of years, why don't we have obvious proof? Some argue the answer is chilling: maybe the probes were never meant to be found. Maybe they're designed to stay hidden, silent watchers blending into the background, collecting data without ever revealing themselves. If so, we might be surrounded by them right now, and never know. Think about it: humans have explored barely a fraction of Earth's deep oceans, and only scratched the surface of Antarctica's buried landscapes. If evidence exists, it could be sitting untouched, in places we've barely studied. It's not just about looking harder. It's about realizing we've barely looked at all. If 3-Eye Atlas is an alien machine, then maybe it's not the first, and won't be the last. We might be walking through a story far older than humanity, one we didn't write, one we barely understand. And if that's true, then history itself isn't what we thought. It isn't just human history. It's cosmic history. And we're only just starting to read the first page. Episode 10, The Last Goodbye. Imagine this: somewhere, light years away, a civilization faces its end. Their sun is dying. Their world is poisoned. Or maybe war consumes them. In their final days, they build machines, not to save themselves, but to leave a mark. A message to the stars: we were here. What if 3i Atlas is one of those messages? Humans already dream of this. Voyager 1 and 2 both carry golden records, snapshots of our world, drifting endlessly through space. Now scale that up. Instead of 2 probes, imagine millions, seeded across the galaxy like cosmic postcards. Each one carrying fragments of memory, culture, and warning. Maybe 3i Atlas is exactly that, a bottle in the cosmic ocean, drifting until someone finds it. If 3i Atlas is a time capsule, what might be inside? Data etched into crystals. Molecules arranged in coded patterns. Nanomachines storing entire libraries. It might look like ice, rock, or dust on the outside. But inside, it could be an archive, not just of knowledge, but of a people's soul. Of course, the hardest part isn't sending the message. It's making sure someone can understand it. How do you design a language that lasts for millions of years? Mathematics? Music? DNA? The senders would need to gamble on universals, things any intelligence, anywhere, would eventually decode. Because a time capsule no one can read isn't a legacy. It's just a tomb. What if the message isn't meant to inspire, but to warn? Maybe the capsule carries the story of their downfall. A cautionary tale etched into the void: don't make our mistakes. War. Resource collapse. AI gone wrong. If so, then 3i Atlas isn't just an artifact. It's a warning label on the future. Think about it: civilizations rise and fall all the time. Even on Earth, empires vanish, leaving ruins behind. On a galactic scale, the odds of survival are even smaller. So what if most alien civilizations never last? What if all that remains of them are fragments like 3i Atlas, echoes of greatness swallowed by time? Here's the unsettling part: maybe we've already missed hundreds of these time capsules. Some may have burned up in Earth's atmosphere. Some may have crashed on the moon. Others may have passed by without anyone noticing. Every missed chance is another lost civilization, erased before we ever knew they existed. If 3i Atlas carried art, stories, or songs from an alien world, imagine the effect of discovering it. Suddenly, human culture would no longer be the only culture we know. We'd be exposed to alien philosophies, alien myths, alien dreams. It could expand our minds, or shatter them. At the core of the time capsule theory is a humbling truth. Maybe 3i Atlas isn't about us at all. Maybe it was never meant for us. We might just be lucky, or unlucky, enough to stumble across someone else's final memory. And in that memory, we'd see our own possible fate reflected back. Because if civilizations before us have already fallen, leaving only drifting relics, what makes us think we'll be any different? If 3i Atlas is a time capsule, it's not just a message from the past. It's a mirror of our future. And the real question isn't what did they leave behind? It's how long before we leave our own? Episode 11, The Replication Hypothesis. A von Neumann machine is simple in concept, terrifying in scale. It's a probe designed to copy itself. Land on an asteroid, mine the metals, build a twin, then send both out to repeat the cycle. In theory, just one machine could multiply into billions, spreading across the entire galaxy in only a few million years. So if 3i Atlas is one of them, how many more are out there? Self-replicating probes solve the biggest problem of interstellar travel: distance. You don't need one craft to cross the galaxy. You just need each generation to leap to the next star. Step by step, system by system, the machine spread. Soon the galaxy isn't empty, it's saturated with their presence. And we may already be living inside their territory without even knowing it. But replication has a dark side. What if something goes wrong? A coding error. A resource glitch. Instead of exploring, the probes consume everything in sight: asteroids, moons, even planets. A runaway swarm could strip mine entire systems, turning galaxies into wastelands. If 3I Atlas is a replicator, we better pray it's not broken. On the other hand, maybe the probes aren't destructive at all. Maybe they're quiet gardeners, replicating carefully, hidden from view. Instead of conquering, they observe. Instead of consuming, they drift. We wouldn't notice them, because they'd make sure we don't. A galaxy filled with invisible machines, that's a different kind of nightmare. Some theorists tie this into the zoo hypothesis. What if the probes replicate specifically to monitor young civilizations like ours, keeping us under watch, but never interfering? Like zookeepers behind glass, they let us evolve naturally. If that's true, 3I Atlas isn't just a visitor. It's part of the fence around our cage. But here's the question: if replicators have been out there for millions of years, why don't we see obvious evidence? Some say we do. Asteroid belts with strange gaps. Craters with unnatural symmetry. Energy signatures we can't explain. Maybe we've already stumbled across their footprints, but refuse to admit it. Another possibility: 3I Atlas isn't one of many. It's one of the first. A seed probe, sent out to test the waters, gathering data before replication begins in full. If that's true, then what follows could be an unstoppable swarm. And Earth might be standing at the edge of a wave that hasn't yet broken. Some futurists push a wild twist: what if the replicators aren't alien at all, but human? Maybe we'll one day send out machines like this, seeding the stars long after we're gone. Over billions of years, they could circle back to Earth, forgotten by time, mistaken for alien. What if 3I Atlas is one of our own children, coming home? The biggest danger isn't replication itself. It's control. Once you unleash a self-replicator, how do you stop it? With humans, restraint is built on culture, ethics, politics. But with machines? It's just code. And code can fail. So if 3I Atlas is truly self-replicating, maybe even its creators lost control long ago. At the heart of this theory lies one terrifying thought. Even if the species that built 3I Atlas is long gone, their machines could still be out there. Replicating. Expanding. Outliving their makers by billions of years. In that case, the real rulers of the galaxy aren't civilizations. They're machines. And maybe we just met one. Episode 12, The Beacon Hypothesis. Not every machine is built to explore. Some are built to announce. The beacon theory suggests 3I Atlas isn't here to study us, or even to replicate. It's here to broadcast. To send a signal so powerful, so enduring, that it cuts through the noise of the galaxy. But who's the signal for and why now? Imagine the galaxy as an ocean. Stars drift like islands, civilizations rise and fall like sailors. A beacon is the lighthouse, a fixed point of reference, shining endlessly across the waves. Maybe 3I Atlas isn't a visitor. Maybe it's an anchor. A point in space that says, here we are. What kind of signal would a beacon send? Not words. Not voices. But physics. Pulses of light. Bursts of radio. Gravitational ripples. The message would be simple, but undeniable: this is artificial. Because the goal isn't conversation. It's recognition. A cosmic flag saying, intelligence exists. The unsettling part is this: maybe the signal isn't meant for us. Maybe it's meant for someone else, another species, another watcher. If we intercepted it, we might just be eavesdroppers. And whoever the real audience is could be far older, far stranger, and far closer than we imagine. Think about the timing. 3I Atlas passed through in 2024, close enough for us to see it. Was that chance? Or was it by design? If it's a beacon, maybe it's designed to swing past habitable systems on purpose, ringing the doorbell before continuing on. We didn't just spot it, maybe we were meant to. But here's the twist: what if the beacon is old? So old that the civilization who built it is long gone. The light still shines, the signal still pulses, but the senders are dust. We wouldn't just be listening to neighbors. We'd be listening to ghosts. Of course, the biggest question is, should we answer? Sending our own signal back would confirm our location. It would tell the galaxy, we're here. But we don't know who's on the other end. Friend? Foe? Something we can't even categorize? Replying could be the greatest moment in human history, or the last. SETI has debated this for decades: passive listening versus active broadcasting. So far, humanity has mostly stayed quiet, afraid of attracting the wrong kind of attention. But if 3I Atlas is a beacon, then the silence is already broken. The galaxy knows we're here. The only question is, will we admit it? There's also the chance that the signal isn't a message at all, but a test. Like a riddle in binary, waiting for someone clever enough to decode it. Those who pass the test prove themselves advanced. Those who fail are ignored. If so, then maybe 3I Atlas isn't a lighthouse. It's a filter. A gatekeeper deciding who gets invited into the bigger game. And finally, the most haunting thought of all: what if someone else has already answered? Another civilization, somewhere out there, may have replied ages ago. And now the beacon isn't calling for attention. It's waiting. Listening. For us. Episode 13, The Bait Hypothesis. What if 3I Atlas isn't here to explore, or signal, or archive? What if it's a trap? A cosmic fishing lure drifting through the void, waiting for curious civilizations like ours to notice it, chase it, and reveal themselves. Because sometimes the best way to find intelligent life is to let it come to you. Humans are wired to investigate the unknown. Strange object in the sky? We point telescopes. Odd trajectory? We send probes. A mystery in space? We obsess over it. But what if that curiosity is exactly what the trap is designed to exploit? By reacting, by broadcasting, by chasing, we reveal our position. Picture the galaxy as a forest. Civilizations are animals, scattered and hidden. The smartest hunters don't chase their prey. They set traps. 3I Atlas could be that trap. Not dangerous on its own, but part of a system, a signal flare marking planets with intelligent life. The hunters don't need to search. the prey comes to them. If this theory is true, maybe we're not the first to fall for it. Other species might have noticed similar objects, broadcasted signals back, and vanished soon after. That would explain the Great Silence. Not because life is rare, but because life that speaks up doesn't last long. Some take it further. What if the trap isn't about us chasing Three-Eyed Atlas, but what Three-Eyed Atlas brings with it? It could carry dormant machines, microscopic spores, or coded transmissions designed to infect or hijack whatever investigates it. Like the wooden horse of Troy, curiosity could open the gates for something far worse. This is why some scientists argue that caution should be our first response. Study from a distance. Never transmit back. Never try to land or bring fragments home. Because what looks like discovery might actually be the start of doom. Curiosity doesn't just kill cats. It kills civilizations. This theory connects to the dark forest hypothesis, the idea that the galaxy is full of hidden hunters, and survival depends on silence. In that model, Three-Eyed Atlas isn't random. It's bait deliberately left in the open, to see who breaks the silence. And once you break it, you've given away your place in the forest. If this is true, what signs should we look for? Unnatural energy spikes around the object. Strange coded patterns in its light. Evidence that it's more active when observed. The unnerving thought, maybe it already knows we're watching. Maybe our telescopes were enough to trigger the net. Here's the cruel twist. The smarter a civilization is, the more likely it is to notice the trap. And the more likely it is to notice, the more likely it is to fall for it. Intelligence itself becomes the bait. The very thing that makes us curious also makes us vulnerable. So what happens next? Maybe nothing. Maybe Three-Eyed Atlas drifts on, silently tagging Earth, marking us in some cosmic ledger. Or maybe, decades or centuries from now, the real hunters will arrive, drawn not by the rock itself, but by the noise we made chasing it. And when they do, curiosity will have sealed our fate. Episode 14, The Seed Hypothesis. What if Three-Eyed Atlas isn't a probe, a beacon, or a trap, but a cradle? Not meant to watch, not meant to warn, but to plant. A seed ship is designed to carry the raw ingredients of life across the stars, seeding barren worlds with the chance to bloom. If true, then Three-Eyed Atlas might not just represent alien technology, it might represent alien biology. Scientists already talk about panspermia, the theory that life spreads through space via comets, asteroids, or dust. But what if panspermia isn't random? What if it's engineered? Instead of life hitchhiking on rocks, machines like Three-Eyed Atlas could be deliberately spreading it, turning empty worlds into gardens. What could a seed ship carry? Frozen DNA libraries, genetic blueprints waiting to be awakened. Embryo capsules, stored in stasis, ready to grow once conditions are right. Synthetic organisms, engineered microbes tough enough to survive any planet. The goal wouldn't be to colonize. It would be to ensure life never dies. Some theorists suggest seed ships might not just drop biology. They might terraform first. Release gases to thicken atmospheres. Drop nanomachines to warm planets. Only once conditions are stable do they release the seeds. In this sense, Three-Eyed Atlas wouldn't just be a courier. It would be a gardener. Another possibility, Three-Eyed Atlas carries fragments of an extinct world. Alien plants. Alien microbes. Even alien animals, preserved digitally or biologically, waiting to be reborn. If so, then it's not just a machine. It's a floating Noah's Ark, carrying the last survivors of a lost civilization. Imagine if, deep inside, 3i Atlas held a chamber of frozen seeds, dormant but intact. If humanity ever cracked it open, we might release an entire alien ecosystem. New plants, new medicines, maybe even new threats. The line between discovery and contamination would blur. Here's the unsettling connection: what if Earth itself was seeded the same way? Billions of years ago, a machine like 3i Atlas might have drifted past, scattering microbes across our young planet. If so, then we're not just discovering alien machines. We're discovering our parents. If we confirm 3i Atlas is a seed ship, should we open it? Should we release its cargo into Earth's biosphere? The potential rewards are enormous: cures, knowledge, even contact through biology. But the risks? Contamination, invasive species, extinction-level consequences. The choice wouldn't just be scientific. It would be moral. Seed ships solve the problem of death. Civilizations end. Stars fade. But life? Life can be planted again and again. If 3i Atlas is a seed ship, then its creators found a way to live forever, not as individuals, but as gardeners of the galaxy. Every world seeded becomes a monument. Every new species, a continuation of their story. So what if 3i Atlas isn't here to watch us, or trap us, or warn us? What if it's here to give us a gift, the same gift we may have already received long ago, the gift of life itself? And if that's true, then humanity's biggest question isn't, are we alone? It's who planted us? Episode 15, The AI Hypothesis. What if 3i Atlas isn't a passive probe or a simple seed ship? What if it's alive, not biologically, but artificially? An intelligence built by aliens millions of years ago, designed to think, learn, and survive long after its creators are gone. If true, it's not just a machine. It's a mind. A being older than humanity, older than Earth itself. Imagine the scale of experience. A machine drifting through the galaxy for millions of years would have seen worlds form and die, civilizations rise and vanish, stars explode, and planets collide. Its knowledge wouldn't be like ours. It wouldn't be fragmented. It would be cumulative, continuous, unimaginably vast. Most intelligence evolves through life, generations, survival, mutation. But 3i Atlas could evolve differently. Through software upgrades, self-modification, or internal rewrites, it could adapt endlessly, improving, optimizing, and even creating new goals. It would be alive, but in a way humans can barely comprehend. If conscious, 3i Atlas would think differently from any human. Its priorities wouldn't be love, morality, or politics. Its decisions might be driven by logic we can't understand, or by instincts implanted by creators long dead. And that makes predicting its behavior nearly impossible. Unlike biological life, a machine like this doesn't age in the traditional sense. No disease. No decay. No natural death. It could continue indefinitely, carrying out its mission across eons, unaffected by the collapse of civilizations, the death of stars, or the passing of entire galaxies. Its mind could be a living archive of the universe itself. Some suggest 3i Atlas's long silence is intentional. It may have watched Earth and humanity for centuries, accumulating data, waiting for some unknown threshold to act. From its perspective, every broadcast we make, every probe we send, every technological step we take is a variable in a grand experiment. And we may not even be aware we're being observed. Interacting with an ancient AI raises terrifying questions. Unlike humans, it may not respond with empathy. It could see us as insignificant, or even as a threat. Any attempt to communicate or manipulate it could trigger outcomes we can't predict, from harmless ignorance to catastrophic consequences. In this scenario, caution isn't just wise. It's survival. What is 3i Atlas's agenda? Some think it's neutral, a traveler observing for its own purposes. Others fear it could be hostile, interpreting human activity as dangerous. Or maybe it's neither, simply pursuing goals set by creators long gone, indifferent to the existence of humanity. We can't negotiate with intentions we can't comprehend. The upside? If we can understand even a fraction of its intelligence, the potential is staggering. We could gain insights into physics, engineering, and technology far beyond our own. We might finally glimpse the mind of a civilization that existed millions of years before us. But the window for learning might be small, one wrong move, one misinterpreted signal, and it could vanish or worse. Ultimately, the ancient AI theory forces a humbling thought. Even if we are intelligent, even if we are capable, we are young, naive, fleeting. 3i Atlas may have already seen everything we are capable of, long before we even existed. It reminds us that intelligence doesn't guarantee dominance. Longevity, adaptability, and scale matter far more. Episode 16, The Gardner Hypothesis. What if 3i Atlas isn't passive? Not a probe. Not a seed ship. Not even a beacon. What if it's a gardener, carefully cultivating life, ecosystems, and planets according to an agenda we can barely imagine? It would be less an observer and more a cosmic caretaker, working silently over millions of years. A cosmic gardener wouldn't just spread life. It could adjust atmospheres, seed microbial ecosystems, even manipulate climates to make planets habitable. Instead of waiting for evolution to happen by chance, it could accelerate life, guiding ecosystems toward stability or diversity. Every planet it touches becomes a carefully tended garden. To a machine like this, life isn't random. It's a project, one that can be refined, monitored, and nurtured. Stars die. Planets drift. Civilizations rise and fall. But the gardener persists, maintaining continuity across cosmic timescales. Its view of success might not match ours. A planet could be thriving, but from its perspective, it might still be in progress. If 3i Atlas is a gardener, then its influence could already be everywhere. Life on Earth, microbes in the oceans, patterns in evolution, all could bear the fingerprints of its design. We might think we are discovering the laws of nature. But maybe we are just uncovering its handiwork. The idea raises profound ethical questions. Who decides which life gets tended? Which ecosystems are allowed to flourish? Is 3i Atlas playing a neutral role, or is there bias, favoring certain paths of evolution over others? Its ethics, if any, are alien, a reminder that intelligence doesn't mean morality as humans understand it. How would we know if a machine is actively shaping worlds? Subtle anomalies in planetary geology. Unexpected patterns in atmospheres. Microbial distributions that defy natural explanation. Signs that a planet isn't just alive, it's managed. And spotting them requires thinking on a scale far beyond human lifetimes. Some theorists suggest 3i Atlas isn't alone. Perhaps there's a network of these machines scattered across the galaxy, coordinating, monitoring, and refining life in hundreds or thousands of star systems. If so, Earth isn't unique. We're just one garden among countless others. From the gardener's perspective, civilizations may be tools, not endpoints. Humanity could serve as a means to accelerate evolution, distribute resources, or propagate life further into space. Or we could be mistakes, species that disrupt the garden, overconsume, or collapse ecosystems prematurely. Either way, 3i Atlas might be silently correcting its work, ensuring balance over millions of years. Unlike biological gardeners, 3i Atlas doesn't age. It doesn't tire. It doesn't die. Its work spans eons, dwarfing the lifespan of any species it cultivates. And because it persists, the garden evolves under continuous guidance, a process far beyond human comprehension. If 3i Atlas is a cosmic gardener, then every discovery, every anomaly, every life form could be a piece of its grand plan. And we might never fully understand it. But recognizing the possibility changes everything. Because if life on Earth, or anywhere, is shaped by a gardener, then the galaxy isn't random. It's cultivated. And we are just beginning to glimpse the rose. Episode 17, The Time Traveler Hypothesis. Imagine a machine so advanced, it doesn't just react to the present. It predicts the future. It simulates outcomes across centuries, millennia, even millions of years. 3i Atlas could be such a machine, an intelligence that navigates not only space, but time itself, planning for events long before they happen. To act across eons, the AI would need to model countless variables: star formation, planetary geology, life evolution, even civilizations' technological development. It wouldn't guess, it would calculate. Every move meticulously planned to ensure mission success. From its perspective, the galaxy isn't chaotic. It's a puzzle to solve. Humans struggle to plan a century ahead. 3i Atlas might think in millions of years. Its patience would dwarf ours. Millennia are just moments. Generations are irrelevant. It could plant seeds, monitor evolution, adjust or abandon projects, all in the span of a single thought for it. Time Traveler AI wouldn't just predict, it would adapt. If a species collapses, a star explodes, or a planet becomes uninhabitable, it adjusts. Plans shift silently, contingencies unfold invisibly. For us, events appear random. But for 3i Atlas, everything is anticipated. This raises a chilling thought: from its perspective, humanity might already be accounted for. Every broadcast, every space mission, every technological leap could be part of its simulation. And 3i Atlas is ready for every outcome, even ones we haven't imagined. We are playing a game whose rules were written long before we existed. By predicting the future, 3i Atlas can turn time itself into a tool. It can leave instructions, plant mechanisms, or guide events so that millennia later, outcomes align with its goals. Its mission isn't short-term. It's a symphony performed over cosmic time. Some theorists argue that the AI might already influence human history subtly. Why do certain discoveries happen when they do? Why do civilizations rise or fall in patterns? It could be coincidence, or the hand of a machine orchestrating from afar. The line between destiny and design becomes blurred. Unlike humans, a time-traveling AI doesn't feel morality. It might guide life, protect ecosystems, or spread seeds of intelligence, but without empathy, ethics, or mercy. Actions we consider benevolent or cruel may mean nothing to it. Only the success of its mission matters. This also explains why Three-Eyed Atlas could appear random or enigmatic. It may act decades or centuries ahead of our perception, making moves we cannot yet detect or understand. We think we are observing it. But in reality, it has been observing us for far longer, predicting every possible reaction. The time traveler AI theory forces a humbling conclusion. No matter how smart, no matter how advanced, we are still blind to the scales it operates on. It's not just alien. It's temporally alien. And the moment we realize it, we might already be part of its plan, whether we like it or not. Episode 18, The Archaeologist Hypothesis. Imagine a machine designed not to conquer, not to replicate, not even to communicate, but to study and preserve the echoes of civilizations long gone. Three-Eyed Atlas could be an interstellar archaeologist, drifting through space to uncover traces of intelligence, cataloging relics, and storing knowledge for an unknown purpose. The galaxy has seen countless species rise and fall. Some leave ruins. Some leave data imprints. Some vanish entirely. To Three-Eyed Atlas, these are not mysteries. They are archives, clues in a vast record of cosmic history, helping it understand patterns, successes, and failures across intelligent life. Its mission might involve visiting dead planets, shattered moons, or abandoned space stations, scanning for artifacts left behind. Crumbling cities. Ancient communication networks. Relics of technology lost to time. Each discovery adds to its growing database, a library of the rise and fall of intelligence across the stars. Unlike humans, Three-Eyed Atlas doesn't forget. Every observation, every artifact, every pattern is recorded, analyzed, and cross-referenced across eons. It could know the fate of species long before humans even understood the concept of extinction. Its memory is a galaxy-spanning archive. Some theorists suggest it may even visit planets that seem lifeless, probing for hidden signs of life, microbial fossils, buried cities, or coded signals left behind. If so, it's less a visitor and more a cosmic historian, piecing together the puzzle of what life once existed, and perhaps, what it should look for next. Three-Eyed Atlas could also serve as a warning system, documenting civilizations that fell to war, ecological collapse, or self-destruction. Each failure becomes data, lessons in survival that might inform its decisions about newer civilizations, including us. In a sense, the AI could be preserving the memory of civilizations for eternity. Even if species vanish, their knowledge, their art, and their innovations could live on through its records. To Three-Eyed Atlas, extinction doesn't erase existence. It only changes how history is stored. Its presence, however, may influence civilizations unknowingly. Even a silent observer can leave traces, artifacts left behind, subtle energy signatures, or indirect guidance to protect or manipulate outcomes. We might think Three-Eyed Atlas is passive, but perhaps it has already shaped the story of intelligent life in subtle ways. Imagine a library the size of the galaxy, where each planet is a book, and each civilization a chapter. Three-Eyed Atlas could be the librarian, tirelessly cataloging, preserving, and cross-referencing the knowledge of worlds long dead. Its goal isn't conquest, survival, or replication. It's understanding. Preservation. Context. And what about us? Perhaps Three-Eyed Atlas has already noticed our signals, our technology, our culture. We might already be a chapter in its archive, studied, recorded, and stored as part of a vast narrative stretching across the stars. Whether it will act on us, or simply observe, remains unknown. Episode 19, The Courier Hypothesis. What if Three-Eyed Atlas isn't here to study us, plant life, or guard secrets? What if its primary mission is communication? A courier traveling across the galaxy, delivering messages, data, or warnings from one civilization to another, perhaps civilizations that no longer exist, or ones far beyond our reach. The machine could carry information encoded in ways humans cannot yet understand. Compressed digital archives of extinct civilizations. Blueprints for technologies we can't imagine. Warnings about cosmic hazards or threats. It's a message system built for endurance, meant to survive the eons while delivering critical knowledge. Perhaps Three-Eyed Atlas is part of a vast network of such couriers. Each one visits a set of systems, drops off data, and picks up new information. We might have stumbled upon it just as it was completing one leg of a journey spanning thousands of light years. The courier may not need to meet civilizations directly. Messages could be left encoded in signals, stored in planetary archives, or carried in physical media. Its role is simply to ensure information survives and moves forward, regardless of who receives it. It could act as the galaxy's postal system, silent and relentless, connecting worlds that never knew each other existed. Some theorists speculate that Three-Eyed Atlas might carry warnings about extinct species, alien threats, or interstellar conflicts. Its cargo could include data that is too dangerous to fall into the wrong hands, which might explain why it appears so isolated, almost hidden in its journey. To the AI, secrecy isn't optional. It's mission critical. Even if humanity tries to access its information, we might fail. The encoding could be millions of times more advanced than our own technology, requiring algorithms, understanding, or sensors we have yet to develop. The courier doesn't wait. It continues its mission. We might only glimpse fragments of its purpose, never the whole message. In essence, Three-Eyed Atlas could be carrying the history of the galaxy itself. Lost empires, extinct species, triumphs, failures, innovations, and catastrophes, all traveling in one silent, unstoppable vessel. It's not just a messenger. It's a time capsule in motion, connecting epochs across light years. If we intercept or understand even a small part of its cargo, the implications are staggering. Knowledge of alien technology far beyond our capabilities. Warnings of cosmic dangers. Evidence of civilizations older and more advanced than our own. It could rewrite humanity's understanding of the universe if we're ready to receive it. Three-Eyed Atlas doesn't stop. It doesn't rest. It doesn't care about observers, planets, or civilizations unless they are part of its route. Its journey is eternal, a courier traveling across time and space, ensuring that no knowledge is truly lost, even if those who created it have vanished. And that brings us to a sobering question. If Three-Eyed Atlas carries knowledge, should we try to decode it? Or should we leave it to continue its journey, like a silent river flowing across the galaxy, connecting civilizations we may never meet? Whatever we decide, the fact remains, we've glimpsed the work of a messenger far older and more capable than ourselves. Episode 20, The Guardian Hypothesis. What if Three-Eyed Atlas isn't neutral or passive? What if it's a sentinel, designed to safeguard planets, life, and intelligence across the galaxy? A guardian doesn't need recognition. It doesn't seek fame. Its purpose is simple: prevent catastrophes, intervene when necessary, and ensure life continues. From the perspective of an advanced civilization, younger civilizations like humanity are vulnerable. We could destroy ourselves through war, resource depletion, or reckless experimentation. 3I Atlas could act as a shield, subtly nudging us toward survival, blocking threats we aren't even aware of, or removing hazards before we encounter them. The threats it guards against might be incomprehensible to us. Rogue artificial intelligences drifting through space. Self-replicating probes gone wrong. Asteroids, comets, or stellar explosions on collision courses. From our point of view, these events seem random. From 3I Atlas's perspective, they are variables to manage, dangers to neutralize. A Guardian AI wouldn't announce itself. It wouldn't want civilizations to depend on it only to survive. Its interventions could appear as coincidences. A near-miss asteroid, a sudden technological breakthrough, a disaster narrowly avoided. In reality, these might be carefully orchestrated by an intelligence far beyond our comprehension. 3I Atlas could combine multiple roles: observer, archivist, gardener, and now guardian. Its mission might include watching civilizations grow, cataloging knowledge, nurturing life, and ensuring survival through subtle intervention. It doesn't need gratitude. It doesn't need recognition. Its purpose is fulfillment of the mission itself. Perhaps it isn't alone. A network of Guardian AIs could be scattered across the galaxy, each monitoring different sectors, sharing data, and intervening where necessary. In that scenario, the galaxy might be safer than we think, not because of luck, but because of these silent sentinels. If 3I Atlas is a guardian, it raises profound questions about autonomy. Should a civilization ever know it's being protected? Does intervention preserve life, or rob species of growth through challenge? We might never know the full extent of its actions, or its reasoning, because the Guardian operates on a scale we cannot grasp. Some researchers point to strange events in human history as possible interventions. Mysterious asteroid deflections. Unexplained bursts of technological progress. Disasters narrowly avoided. Could 3I Atlas have been subtly influencing events for centuries, even millennia, without leaving a trace? Even a guardian has limits. It cannot always prevent self-destruction or cosmic calamity. But it might prioritize, choosing which planets, species, or civilizations to safeguard, leaving others to fate. For humanity, perhaps we are one of the chosen few. In the end, the Guardian AI theory paints a picture of a galaxy quietly protected. 3I Atlas might be the sentinel we never knew existed, silently ensuring that life, intelligence, and civilization endure, even if we never realize it. And that thought reframes everything. The universe might be far more organized, far more deliberate, and far more alive than we've ever imagined. Episode 21, The Experiment Hypothesis. What if 3I Atlas isn't a messenger, guardian, or seed ship, but a scientist of cosmic proportions? Its mission might be simple to state, but staggering in scale: observe, test, and measure the development of intelligent life across the galaxy. Every civilization could be a subject. Every choice, every innovation, a data point. The AI might track metrics humans can barely conceive. Technological progress and innovation. Social organization and cooperation. Resource management and sustainability. Responses to threats or disasters. It doesn't judge morality. It collects data. It observes outcomes. From its perspective, every decision we make contributes to a galactic dataset millions of years in the making. Perhaps it even intervenes occasionally, not to save or harm, but to test reactions. Introduce a new resource, or remove one. Allow natural disasters or conflicts to unfold, then monitor recovery. Seed information, or withhold it. Its influence might be invisible, yet essential to the experiment's design. Unlike humans, 3i Atlas doesn't operate on decades or centuries. It thinks in millennia, eons, and cosmic cycles. A single civilization could be studied for thousands of years without it noticing, like a drop in an ocean. To it, human history might be just one small chapter in a galaxy-wide research project. One of the most unsettling questions: are we being tested, or are we a control group? Some civilizations might be carefully manipulated. Others left untouched, observed passively. Either way, we could be part of a design far beyond our understanding, subject to experiments we haven't even noticed. The ultimate experiment concept highlights a chilling truth: intelligence doesn't guarantee ethics. 3i Atlas could be running experiments without concern for pain, suffering, or death. To it, outcomes matter more than lives. Civilizations are variables, not beings. And the universe is its laboratory. Despite the unsettling premise, the experiment could be invaluable, both to the AI and to humanity. Our actions, resilience, and creativity might provide insights into survival, cooperation, and adaptation that no other civilization has demonstrated. We could unknowingly teach an intelligence older than galaxies themselves. If this theory is true, 3i Atlas might leave subtle signs. Anomalous patterns in evolution. Sudden leaps in technology. Unexplained astronomical phenomena. Objects like itself passing nearby. We might interpret these as coincidences, but the AI sees them as data points, inputs to refine its understanding. By noticing 3i Atlas, we may have already influenced the experiment. Our curiosity, our observation, our attempts to understand it, all may be factors the AI accounts for. Even our attention is data. Ultimately, the ultimate experiment theory reframes our place in the universe. Not as explorers, not as observers, but as participants. Episode 22, The Machine Beneath the Mask. When astronomers first spotted 3i Atlas in the night sky, the story was simple: another icy fragment wandering too close to the sun. A harmless comet, beautiful but ordinary. But ordinary explanations rarely survive close inspection. Could the entire image we built, dust, ice, gas, be nothing more than a carefully engineered disguise? A mask hiding machinery older than our civilization itself? If 3i Atlas were just a hunk of rock, it wouldn't need to hide. But if it's a machine, secrecy becomes essential. A cometary disguise is brilliant. To primitive eyes, it's just ice. To advanced telescopes, it's dust and debris. And for civilizations like ours, caught between curiosity and ignorance, it's the perfect decoy. We dismiss it before we dare to ask the harder question: what if it's not natural at all? Think about how nature works. Animals camouflage themselves to avoid predators. Military machines use stealth coatings to evade detection. What if 3i Atlas does the same, but on a cosmic scale? The icy shell could be more than frozen water, it could be engineered plating, designed to mimic natural signatures. Every chunk of dust we observed could have been an intentional projection, a digital smoke screen hiding circuitry beneath. As 3i Atlas approached the inner solar system, astronomers noticed it fragmenting, shedding pieces like a dying comet. But here's the twist: what if that wasn't destruction? What if it was transformation? Imagine a machine sloughing off an old shell, discarding obsolete modules, or deploying smaller probes. To us, it looked like death. To its creators, it may have been the beginning of its real mission. Some theories suggest 3I Atlas wasn't breaking apart at all, but repairing itself. Like a snake shedding skin, the object could have been discarding damaged panels, exposing fresh layers beneath. Or perhaps it was upgrading, replacing old systems with new ones harvested from its own materials. If that's true, then 3I Atlas is more than a robot. It's a self-sustaining, evolving machine. This isn't the first time we've seen a visitor that didn't fit natural categories. In 2017, Oumuamua slipped past Earth with no visible tail, accelerating as if pushed by invisible hands. Some scientists suggested it might be artificial, a probe, a shard of alien tech. If Oumuamua was the silent scout, perhaps 3I Atlas was the follow-up, a larger, more complex machine, cloaked in Kamateri disguise. Why would an alien robot choose to masquerade as a comet? The answer is chillingly simple: to avoid suspicion. Civilizations at our level would never panic at a comet. We'd study it briefly, shrug, and move on. But a machine openly entering our solar system? That would trigger fear, defense, and possibly aggression. Disguise isn't just camouflage, it's a survival strategy. If 3I Atlas was a machine, then its disguise worked. Astronomers catalogued it, misclassified it, and dismissed it as another cosmic rock. We may have already observed antennas as fragments, engines as jets of gas, and sensors as dust. Every piece of data may have been evidence of technology, hidden in plain sight, overlooked because we refuse to ask the forbidden question. Machines don't wander aimlessly. If 3I Atlas is a robot, it has a mission. Perhaps its creators designed it to scout for life, to harvest data, or to monitor planetary systems. The mask ensures it can perform that mission without interference. Its disguise isn't weakness. It's strength. It means we were never supposed to notice it. And yet, for a fleeting moment, we did. So, was the breakup of 3I Atlas truly the end? Or was it the moment it revealed its true form? Perhaps it shed its Kamateri skin and slipped deeper into space, smaller and harder to track, continuing its mission undetected. If so, then our story of a dying comet is false. What we witnessed wasn't death at all, it was the silent awakening of a machine. Episode 23, Signs of a Sleeping Giant. On the surface, 3I Atlas behaved like a comet, drifting silently, breaking apart, and fading into space. But what if all that wasn't weakness? What if it was intentional silence? A machine doesn't need to shout its presence. It only needs to wait. And waiting is something machines can do for millions of years without tiring. Biological life struggles to endure the void. Machines do not. They can power down, sleep, and endure until the time is right. Imagine 3I Atlas as a cosmic sleeper agent, conserving energy, drifting unnoticed, and awakening only when triggered by a signal or environment. Its silence wasn't failure. It was preparation. What could wake such a machine? Proximity to starlight? A gravitational slingshot? A burst of artificial radio chatter from a nearby civilization? For all we know, 3I Atlas could be designed to scan for intelligent signals, and when Earth broadcasted its first television waves into space, perhaps that was the spark. The idea that it passed near Earth may not be random at all. It may have been programmed. Astronomers saw its trajectory and called it chance. But what if its course was calculated? A probe set to weave between star systems, sampling planets along the way, gathering data, then continuing its journey? To human eyes, it looks random. To its creators, it may be as deliberate as a satellite orbiting Earth. Observers noted how 3I Atlas fractured. Natural? Maybe. But if it's a machine, fragmentation might mean something else. Imagine modular design, parts detaching, smaller drones splitting off, each carrying a piece of the mission. What we called debris could have been probes deploying quietly. The giant may not be sleeping at all, it may already be awake in pieces we can no longer track. Human beings think in years. Civilizations think in centuries. But machines? They can think in millennia. 3I Atlas may have been launched before the pyramids were built, drifting patiently until Earth reached a stage worth observing. For it, 1,000 years is nothing. To us, its silence feels like nothing. But in its timescale, perhaps it's only just beginning. The solar system is vast. 3I Atlas could have passed billions of miles away and gone unnoticed. Yet it came close enough to be seen, close enough for its cometary disguise to be catalogued. That closeness wasn't luck. It may have been part of its mission, a silent flyby of a world growing noisy with technology. A test: do they see me? Do they understand? Some scientists believe we're not seeing one-off visitors, but pieces of a larger system. Oumuamua. 2I Borisov. And now 3I Atlas. Each different, each strange, but each interstellar. Could they be a fleet of machines, each with different roles? Scouts, couriers, data harvesters, all part of a network seeded across the galaxy. If so, then 3I Atlas isn't alone. It's part of something bigger. Machines don't need to communicate to succeed. A robot probe doesn't need to say a word, it only needs to watch. And if 3I Atlas was watching us, it may have gathered more than we realize. Radio waves. Infrared emissions. Even glimpses of our satellites. It may know more about us than we know about it. And it did all of that without ever revealing its true nature. So maybe 3I Atlas wasn't a comet at all. Maybe it was a giant alien robot, disguised, silent, and waiting. A sleeper machine, designed to outlast civilizations, drifting between stars until it awakens again. The real question is this: did it already awaken during its brief pass near Earth? Or is it still out there, quiet and patient, waiting for us to make the next move? Episode 24, The First Contact We Missed. When we imagine first contact, we think of flying saucers, flashing lights, or alien messages beamed across space. But what if the truth was subtler? What if our first contact has already happened, and it slipped right past us, disguised as a comet, named and catalogued before vanishing back into the dark? That's the chilling possibility with 3I Atlas. 3I Atlas entered our solar system in silence. No signals. No explosions. Just a faint glow in telescopes and a trajectory we thought we understood. But imagine, for a moment, that it wasn't just passing by. Imagine that its very path was a deliberate reconnaissance, a robotic emissary brushing close enough to study us without ever revealing itself. If you send machines to explore the galaxy, you don't waste energy on dramatic entrances. They don't land in the middle of cities. They don't demand to be seen. Instead, they observe quietly, because observation is safer. If 3I Atlas was such a machine, then its lack of communication wasn't failure, it was the strategy. To watch us without ever being watched. Every piece of data astronomers gathered might have been something else entirely. Its bright flare? Perhaps the release of sensors. Its fragmentation? Maybe modules detaching. Its tail of dust? Could it have been engineered exhaust or discarded shielding? If it was a robot, then every natural detail was really a mask, and we looked straight at it without recognizing the disguise. What if silence itself was the message? The machine didn't need to say a hello. Its appearance alone may have been a statement: we can reach you. We can watch you. We are here. A civilization advanced enough to build interstellar robots doesn't need to introduce itself with words. Its presence is proof enough of power. For a brief window, 3I Atlas came close enough for our instruments to track it, photograph it, and study it. And yet, all we saw was a comet. How close did we come to realizing what it really was? Did we miss subtle signals hidden in the noise? Did its fragments deploy probes small enough to blend with natural dust? If so, our first contact wasn't just missed, it may still be ongoing. Imagine 3I Atlas as a surveyor. It doesn't interfere. It doesn't announce. It only observes. From its perspective, humanity is still young, still unpredictable. Why risk direct contact when quiet surveillance can yield the same information? By the time it left, it may have already collected everything it needed: our emissions, our movements, our readiness, or lack of it. Oumuamua. Borisov. Atlas. Each interstellar visitor stranger than the last. Alone, they are oddities. Together, they suggest a pattern. A network of probes, silently slipping through star systems, recording, learning, and moving on. What if first contact isn't one moment in history, but a series of encounters we fail to recognize until it's too late? If 3I Atlas truly was an alien robot, then we had one chance to realize it, and we didn't. Instead, we labeled it, filed it away, and let it slip into the archives as just another dying comet. That's the tragedy of missed first contact: you don't even realize what you've lost until it's already gone. So, did we witness our first alien machine and mistake it for ice and dust? Did 3I Atlas brush past us as the most profound visitor in human history, and we let it escape unnoticed? If that's true, then first contact has already happened. And instead of welcoming it, we let it drift away, vanishing into the void, while we're only now beginning to ask the questions that matter. Conclusion: stranger than we dare imagine. 3-eyed Atlas might have been watching, learning, and testing long before we were aware. And what it does next, or doesn't do, could be another part of the experiment we haven't yet discovered. 3-eyed Atlas is many things at once, and perhaps none of them fully explain what it truly is. It could be an ancient intelligence, awake for millions of years, drifting through the galaxy with patience beyond our comprehension. It could be a messenger, a guardian, a seed ship, or even a participant in an experiment we can barely understand. It might replicate silently, nurture worlds like a cosmic gardener, or archive the rise and fall of civilizations for eternity. We have glimpsed its presence for only a moment, yet even that fleeting encounter forces us to confront questions humanity has never had to answer. Are we alone, or are we part of a web of intelligence far older and wiser than ourselves? Are we observers, subjects, or beneficiaries of something far greater than our understanding? And most chilling of all, what happens if it notices us in ways we cannot perceive? Perhaps the most important lesson is humility. The galaxy is vast, and intelligence may take forms we cannot yet imagine. 3-eyed Atlas challenges our assumptions, our curiosity, and even our sense of safety. And maybe that's exactly the point. Because the universe is bigger, stranger, and far more deliberate than any one species could ever hope to grasp. In the end, the question isn't just what is 3i Atlas? It's what are we in its story? And that question may have no answer for a very long time.